Hello there folks, welcome back to the third session of Vedic Maths. In the previous two sessions we have already covered the square of numbers ending with 5, the multiplication trick with 11, the 2 by 2 multiplication and the 3 by 3 multiplication. In this session we should see the calculation of squares from 26 to 75 with the help of Vedic Maths techniques. Now for those who have already completed the first two sessions, you can join in with me for the fifth chapter I mean. For those who haven't already, please go back and see the previous two videos that covered these 4 chapters. So we should proceed with our third session. Now for this concept, I should explain this to you with the help of certain examples. But before that, I would like to give you a note of advice. For people who do not already know, you have to remember the square of numbers from 1 to 25. Now people generally remember the squares from 1 to 10. However, people tend to forget the squares from 11 to 25. I'll help you guys in this. I'll quickly write down the squares from 11 to 25. Likewise, 11 square is 121. 12 square is 144. 13 square is 169. 14 square is 196, 15 square is 225, 16 square is 256, 17 square is 289, 18 square is 324, 19 square is 361, 20 square, as you already know, it's 400. 21 square is 441. 22 square is 484. 23 square 529. 24 square 576 and 25 square is 625. So you have to remember the squares of all these numbers starting from 1 to 25 if you want to solve the problems from 26 to 75 squares. Now we should quickly proceed with our Vedic Maths techniques for calculation of squares from 26 to 75. I'll explain this with the help of certain examples as well as I'll write in the steps for you guys so that you can understand and do better. So let's start this with the help of example of 42 square. Now the first step that you need to do in this is you need to see the difference of the number from 50 and you have to square it. In this, the difference of 42 from 50 is 8. We have to square it after that. 8 square will give you 64. After this, the second step that follows is you have to see the difference of the number from 25 and mention it as it is. And here the difference of 42 from 25 is 17. Now the third and final step will be write the results obtained from steps 1 and 2 from the left. Okay, now we'll see 42 square. If we do the first step, that's written difference of the numbers from 50 and square it. So this gives us 64, and as the third step involves, we have to write the results obtained from 1 and 2 from the left. So starting from the, this should be right. Okay. So the first step, the result obtained from the first step is 64, and we will have to write it from the right. So we write 64. The next step is difference of the number from 25 and mention it as it is. So the difference from 25 or 42 is 17, and we will mention it as it is. We started from right, remember? That's the third step. So the result obtained is 1764, and that's 42 square. So the same can be obtained easily with the help of this technique. Now we'll see this in the form of next example, and I'll also tell you about certain exceptions. So next example, I'll take 54. I'll urge you guys to pause the video and try it again by yourself. Okay, I hope you would have done that. So let's see. Now we'll do the first step. The first step was to see the difference from 50 and to square it. So difference of 50 and 54 is 4, and in turn we have to square it. That will fetch us 16. The second step will be to see the difference of 54 from 25. Now the difference of 54 from 25 is 29. Now the third step will be to write the numbers from the right. So if you see, 16 is the first step solution, 29 is the second step solution, and there it is. That's your number. So the square of 54 is 29 16. See, it's very easy. Now we'll see certain exceptions. Let me take a number 62. Let's start it off by doing it as it is. The first step that we need to do is see the difference of 62 from 50 and square it. So that will give us 12 square. Now 12 square is 144. The exception that I was talking about is the spaces in here are 2 blank. So you can fill only a 2-digit number in this blank. Now 29 and 16 are already 2-digit numbers, hence I did not need to moderate it. But here, the result that we obtained in the first step is 144. However, this is not a 2-digit number, but a 3-digit number. So if you remember what we did in squaring of numbers, that's ending with 5, multiplication trick with 11, the 2 by 2 and 3 by 3 multiplication, if you remember all that, then we always take the units place and the tens place as far as 2-step blanks are considered. So in this, what we will do is, we will fill this 2-step blank with numbers 4 and 4, and the one that is left will go as a carryover for the next number. Now what exactly is the next number? Is the second step result that we will obtain as the difference of 62 from 25. Now the difference of 62 from 25 gives us 37. But remember, you do have one carryover from here. So the result will be 38. And there it is. The third step followed is, we will write the results obtained in first and second step from the right. So we will start with 44. And then there was one carryover on 37. So the result obtained will be 38. So you see, that's your number. 62 square is 3844. So I think you can easily do it now. If you want to take more examples, you can always do. Let me take just one more example for you guys. Let me take a bigger number. Since we are seeing this for squares from 26 to 75, I'll explain 73 square. Okay, let's start it off by doing it as it is. The first step followed will be difference of 73 from 50 and squaring it. So the difference of 73 and 50 is 23. If we square it, we will obtain 529. Now the second step will be to see the difference of 73 from 25. The difference of 73 from 25 will be 48. And the third step will be to write the results from step 1 and 2, starting from the right. So 73 square in that case will become, now do observe that 529 is a 3-digit number and we cannot fill this in a 2-step blank process. So the numbers that we will be filling is only 2 and 9, and the 5 that remains will go as a carryover on the result that is obtained in the second step, that 48. So 48 will now become 53 by adding 5 as a carryover. So 73 square will be 5329. I hope you guys find this method really helpful. So that's how you can do the squaring of numbers from 26 to 75. You can take on more examples and as many as you like, and please proceed with the help of the steps that I told you. Now let's go to our next chapter, that is multiplication of numbers close to 100. With this, we finish the 5th session as well, that's calculation of squares from 26 to 75. Now we will proceed to multiplication of numbers close to 100. Now, I'll explain this thing and this concept as well with the help of certain examples as always. And I'll also write in the steps for you guys so you can apply it over other questions. So what exactly we do in multiplication of numbers close to 100? Let's take a number 107 and multiply it by 109. So what we need to do is, we will write 107 and we will write 109. I'll just write in the steps. The first step will be to see the difference, positive or negative, from 100. Okay, I'll do the first step for you guys. 107 and the difference from 100 is plus 7. Now, as I wrote in this step here, positive or negative, to mention this is really important. You will see its use later on. And 109 has a difference of plus 9 from 100. Now what we do, once we have obtained the difference from 100, we'll go to the next step. The second step will be to multiply the differences and to obtain the results in a 2-digit blank, as we have been doing since. The result that we will be obtaining by multiplying 7 and 9, that's what we are showing in the second step, to multiply the differences. The differences are 7 and 9. Now we will be multiplying the differences to obtain 63 in the form of a 2-digit blank. Now 63 is already a 2-digit number, hence it perfectly fills the 2-digit blank that we are talking about in step 2. Now we'll proceed to the step 3. Okay, if you guys get confused with how many blanks there should be, should there be always 2 blanks, should there be always 1 blank, then I'll tell you a shortcut. Do see what our chapter is. It's multiplication of numbers close to 100. How many zeros does the 100 have? It has 2 zeros. Hence the blanks that you need to put it out as is 2 blanks. Had it been multiplication of numbers close to 1000, which we will be seeing later on in our next sessions, then the number of blanks that you could have been designated here is 3. So the number of blanks is directly proportional to the number of zeros in the number whose close to we are multiplying other numbers of. So since it was multiplication of numbers close to 100, which in turn has 2 zeros, so the number of blanks that we can fill in is 2. So you see, that's a really helpful shortcut. Let's proceed to the third step. Now once we are done multiplying the differences and obtaining the results in the form of a 2-digit blank, what we will do is we will do the sum of numbers in a cross multiplication format. In this case, if we see a cross functional format that relates 107 with plus 9 and 109 to plus 7, we can take either of the two and we can make the sum. So if we make the sum, then it will be 107 plus 9 or 109 plus 7. Nevertheless, the result in both the cases will be 116. And we will write it as it is. So the result obtained is 11663. That's how it is solved. So you see, it's pretty easy. Now the two-step blank that we talk about in the second step only holds good for the multiplication that we did of the differences, that is plus 7 and plus 9. However, there is no such concept of two-digit blank for the number that we will be obtaining henceforth, that is 116. So the two-step blank only holds good for 63 or any other number for that matter. We'll take another example so that you can understand even better and all your doubts will get clarified. However, if you still have doubts, you can always post in the comment section and I'll take them up in a separate video. The next number that we will be seeing is 107 square. That is 107 multiplied by 107. Do not be confused, I am not explaining square of numbers close to 100 here, I am just explaining multiplication of numbers close to 100. However, you can always use this concept for squaring of numbers close to 100 as well. I'll tell you guys in further slides. So let's do the same things. I won't write the steps here in for you guys. You can always go back and check the steps that I wrote for multiplication of 107 and 109 that we did in the last question. So the first step was to see the difference from 100 in a positive or negative format. Signs are important, always remember that. Now 107 has a difference of plus 7 from 100, and by that we are done with our first step. The second step was to multiply the differences and write it in a two-digit blank format. In this case, multiplication of differences is plus 7 into plus 7. That will fetch us 49. It is already a two-digit number, hence it perfectly fills our two-step blank. The third step was to do the sum of the numbers in a cross-functional format. In this cross-functional format, we have 107 plus 7 and 107 plus 7. It's irrelevant to do any of these. So 107 plus 7, because the result is still the same, it's 114. So the result that we obtained by the product of 107 and 107 is 11449. So do you see how perfectly you can solve the examples and the numbers that are close to 100? The product of numbers close to 100 can be done with the help of these. Also, as a matter of fact, you can always apply the same method, and you can always use these steps as well for the calculation of squares from 75 to 125. Now if you look closely, we had it as a chapter number 7, calculation of squares from 76 to 125. I'll explain it as I go on further, do not need to panic. I'll just explain the same in here. The concept was to understand the square of numbers from 75 to 125. If you pay a bit of attention, I already explained 107 square with the help of this method that you can already put in use. Let's take another example and do the square. For example, let's say I want to do 114 square. So 114 square can be represented as 114 multiplied by 114. If we follow the same steps, I'll do it a bit quickly, guys. You can always go back and check what we have already solved if you still lag behind. The difference of 114 from 100 is plus 14, and here plus 14 as well. What we needed to do is we needed to multiply the differences, that is plus 14 and plus 14 in this case, and put it in a 2-digit format. So 14 and 14, the product of 14 and 14 is 196. That's 14 and 14, which forms the second step. However, if you remember, we can only put it in a 2-step blank process. So the numbers that we will obtain is 9 and 6 only. However, the one that is left on will go as a carryover for the further results. Now, what exactly are the further results? If you remember, our step 3 was to do a sum of numbers in a cross-functional format. In this case, the cross-functional format will be 114 plus 14. And the sum that we will obtain is 128. But do not forget, we also have plus 1 as a carryover. So the result will be 129 in this case. And there you have already solved the problem. So 114 square will give you 12996. 129 from in here and 96 in the form of a 2-step blank process that we already obtained through step 1 and 2. There you go. So you see how easily you can calculate the square of numbers from 75 to 125. Let's see another example. And this will be the last example, and I will do it pretty quickly. Let's say we need to calculate 112 square. So 112 square can be written as 112 into 112, wherein the difference will be plus 12 and plus 12 in each case. Doing the second step and multiplying the differences of 12 and 12, we will obtain 144, of which we can always put 44, and the 1 will go as a carryover to further process. Doing a cross-functional sum, we will do 112 and 12, and the result we will be obtaining is 124. We have 1 as a carryover, so we will obtain 125. So the result that will be obtained is 112 square as 12544. You guys can always check this out with the help of conventional means as well, but you will still obtain the same results and in a much faster way. So the 112 square is 12,544. That's 12544. We can go on and solve more problems if you want. However, I think this should be sufficient to clear your doubts as well as to clear your concept. And that will be all for today's video. And with this, we have already completed 7 chapters in this session. The first 5 I have already explained, and the multiplication of numbers close to 100 and calculation of squares from 76 to 125 were explained in accordance with one-step method. So the chapters that we are left to deal with are the mixed fractions and the cubes of 2-digit and 3-digit numbers and the multiplication of numbers close to 100. However, they are pretty easy and they should not take more time. We'll just take one more session to complete the whole syllabus of Vedic Maths, and then we'll be proceeding to arithmetic in our further sessions. So if you like my work, kindly do subscribe my channel and hit the like button. If you have any doubts, please do give me a feedback or comment in the comment section so that I can clear your doubts and take them up in the next video. Till then, see you guys and have a great day. Thank you.